I am Eleanor Smith. I am the founder and the lead instructor for the course, and I'm joined tonight by some of my co-instructors. The university calls them guest speakers. I call them my co-instructors. That's Melissa Perez, Corey Newhouse, and Lorianne Lee. And we may have another instructor, Marty Lowe, who let me know a few minutes ago that he's at the doctor's office. So just a little teeny tiny bit of background about this course. We launched the course. The SEIE is the division at Sonoma State University School of Extended and International Education, and that is the home of the Professional Development Certificate courses. And I have over 30 years working in the nonprofit and philanthropic world. I call this, as do many people, the social sector. And I've done a whole variety of things. I've worked on the staff of nonprofits. I've worked very closely with foundations. I've sat on boards. And I have been a consultant. And for, wow, well over 10 years, I've been teaching nonprofit management courses. And I am delighted to share with all of you through Sonoma State's online platform. We are so excited to have people join us from actually all over the country. A couple of semesters ago, we had folks in 3 different states, different time zones, and all over California, and quite a number of people from Sonoma County and just the general North Bay area, Marin, Sonoma, Mendocino, Napa. So let's see. So for tonight, our agenda is just a few logistics about the course, because people often have questions about how things work. And then I will talk a little about the sessions that I teach and turn it over to Melissa, Corey, and Lorianne to talk about their sessions. And we do have a few instructors who are not here. They weren't able to make it. So I'll fill in and talk very briefly about their sessions. So the class meets live. We are in real time with the students every Tuesday night when the semester starts for 11 weeks, starting January 30th. And the last session is an optional session that's on April 16th. So you're required to come to the 10 sessions between January 30th and April, 9th. And there is frequently the instructors will request that you do maybe 30 minutes of prep work. There is actually there are no required assignments. There are no exams. So basically the requirement for getting the certificate is that you attend the live sessions. We do ask for a lot of participation. The class is so much more interesting when people show up and share their own experiences and ask their questions. You know, we love questions. We consider no question stupid. So that's something we like to set out at the beginning. You will need to use a Sonoma State email. Once you register for the course, you'll be given a Sonoma State email, and I send out announcements through that email, and that email will get you access to the online learning platform called Canvas, which is where I post all of the materials that we're all using. So it's a really robust online learning platform, and each of us is giving our very highly curated materials. Generally not too many, maybe 3 or 4 items per session, plus our presentation slides. And in class, we do various exercises. We will use breakout rooms. We like to keep the energy flowing because 3 hours, 6 to 9, did I mention that? It's a 3-hour evening class on Tuesday nights, 6 to 9 in the Pacific time zone. So we try to keep it active. So very briefly, a few testimonials from recent students. I like all of the classes. Oh, I felt like all of the classes were just the tip of the iceberg. I'm inspired to dig deeper. The course gives an overview that effectively engages the student in the nonprofit world and provides the vocabulary to explore further. I think that was probably from a student who was new to nonprofits. We have students who are brand new or thinking of joining the nonprofit world, and students who have been in nonprofits for a number of years. Let's see, it is a very comprehensive course and very interesting. And I have been told by former students that getting the certificate turned into a raise in their organization. And I heard from somebody who was in the very first class that we did in 2022 that shortly after she received her certificate, she was offered her first ever management position, and she told them she had just completed this course and she was offered a higher starting salary. So the certificate is worth something. And we all put our heart and soul into teaching. So let's see. Any questions at this point before I jump into the session by session? No? Okay. Okay, so I teach 4 sessions. I teach the first session called the Introduction to Nonprofits, and it's kind of a overview of what is a nonprofit, what is, what are the key laws, what makes a nonprofit different from a business or government, some statistics about how large the sector is, where the concentration of money is, like in terms of types of organizations, like education and religion are the 2 largest, and healthcare are the 2 largest sectors. So there's a lot of information that sort of grounds us and gets us on the same page about what nonprofits are and what role they play in society, and very interesting brief history of where nonprofits came from, what sort of the mindset when they actually were brought over from Europe. And we get into a little about, a little discussion about what brought each of you to the course and what you're trying to learn. And that's a really helpful bit of info to give us instructors at the start, because our students really do run the gamut. I think we had a class 2 semesters ago, we had 6 executive directors. And this last time we had almost half of people who had not worked in nonprofits at all. So we have to be nimble, we have to be flexible, we have to pretty much know who's in the room, because our classes do tend to be on the small side, from let's see, 10 to 17 or 18 students. And we like it that way. We don't really like teaching big Zoom room classes. At least I don't. The second class I teach is program development, which is like the mission of the organization. Most nonprofits are founded, I think all nonprofits are founded to do some social benefit. So the programs are the way that the mission is manifested. So I talk about what is a program, how do we create programs, how do we find out if the community or the target population, the people we want to serve, really need this program, and just sort of getting into the nuts and bolts of creating new programs, planning new programs. And then there's lots of different sessions about different operational or administrative components. And Melissa can talk to you about fundraising.
Okay, so I'm Melissa Perez. I am a consultant at Upstream Philanthropy, previously with Glavin Jacobson. We are in a transition right now. But I've been fundraising for 20-something years, but really what I have found is I've learned more from consulting because I get the opportunity to learn from my clients. And I learned a lot from the students too. Eleanor said the class is interactive, and I've learned so much from the students in the class. The fundraising class is very much an overview. We're going to talk about, these are some of the elements of ways that people fundraise, but it's much less technical. Eleanor alluded to the fact that very few people in the room are even working in nonprofits, much less doing fundraising. So this is very much geared towards executive directors or COOs or the program person or the community volunteer, really ways of getting your entire organization involved in fundraising. So that's kind of a big overview, and happy to answer questions when we're finished going through the review of the whole session.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. That was a very nice synopsis, Melissa. And congrats on the transition to Upstream. I'm excited for you.
Thank you.
And I'm doing the session presentation in the chronological order in which we will offer the classes this coming semester. So Judy Konofsky, who is not here tonight, teaches a very robust session on grant writing, and she is a very seasoned, very successful grant writer for nonprofits, and she teaches grant writing in a semester-long course in Sonoma State's Masters of Public Administration program. So that's a master's level course. So she's not doing that course in 3 hours, but she is trying to give you the highlights and just some really important nuggets of wisdom. She has a lot of wisdom and best practices under her belt, and she will share those. It's a very practical oriented session. She's very hands-on, and I think folks find it extremely helpful. And Marty is not here with us. Marty Lowe is the instructor for the nonprofit finance and accounting session. And Marty is a lovely instructor. I've taken his class. I sit in on all the classes, or most of them. And Marty teaches finance in a really beautiful way. It's hard to use interesting language around teaching of finance, but he does it in such a low-key, friendly, warm way that really invites you into looking at columns of numbers differently, and how to read stories, how to tell stories with numbers. I find it extremely accessible and helpful. So he does an exercise that is super fun. It's really fun. That I won't give you any more information than that. It's a really great exercise, sort of a game, I guess. And legal issues. We have a new instructor. Eric Gorovich is our new instructor for the legal issues session. The person who has taught that for the first 4 semesters has just had to step away. So Eric, he's an illustrious person. He's teaching a semester-long course at UC School of Law, formerly Hastings. Is that what it is? Yeah, Hastings School of Law, now called UC School of Law, San Francisco. So he's an expert in nonprofit legal issues, and I believe his passion is advocacy. So if your organization is involved in doing advocacy work and you want to know how far you can go in that direction and stay within the bounds of the law, because there are legal limits, that is going to be a really useful session. So I haven't taken his session yet because he hasn't taught it. So we'll be discovering that together, but I have full confidence in him. And next up is Corey, who's here.
Thanks so much, Eleanor, and thank you all so much for joining us on a Friday night during the holidays. Really appreciate that. Again, my name is Corey Newhouse. I'm the founder and principal of a consultancy called Public Profit. We work with mission-driven organizations to help them use data to make better decisions, enhance the quality of their services, and ideally to broaden and deepen the impact that they have for the communities that they serve. I've been an evaluation consultant for about 20 years now. I founded Public Profit 16 years ago. Really, it's my passion, it's my love to help folks in the nonprofit and social sectors to really tap into their passion and love for social change and to see how data and evidence can help them to achieve their goals. I'll be honest, evaluation has maybe not the best reputation in nonprofits, and for good reason. For a long time, program evaluation in nonprofit and social spaces has been really about keeping the funder happy, or at least keeping the funder away, and that's a big missed opportunity in my opinion. And so, big part of what we talk about during the evaluation session is how evaluation can really align with your organizational mission and vision, how it can support those continuous quality improvement efforts that you're doing, and also some quick tips on ways to enhance some really common data collection activities, surveys most especially. So we do a little bit of a sampler platter, as Eleanor said. 6 to 9 on a Tuesday, we got to keep it fresh, but want to help people just get introduction to a lot of different kind of hopefully very helpful areas in evaluation and data, so that they can dig more deeply into those that are most aligned with their work. And again, just like Melissa, very happy to take questions once we get to that point in our evening.
Thank you, Corey. That's the program evaluation session. Okay, Lori-Ann.
Hi, all. I'm Lori-Ann Lee, and I get to cover human resources. Yay! Human resources often gets a bad rap. And so anytime I can share my experiences and help people really understand, or at least get a taste of what human resources can actually do to just protect the organization and to support our employees, I am totally excited to do so. I actually come from the world of education. I was a teacher for a long time before I transitioned to human resources. And so that passion for human development and learning and growing is just, it oozes out. And so I'm very excited to continue to work with Eleanor and the program. In my experience so far, I've taught 3 of the sessions so far, not the first one, but there haven't been a lot of people with either HR focus or much knowledge about HR. And so based on that first night when Eleanor learns when all of the students get to share why they are participating in the course and, you know, what they're hoping to get out of the course, then I can kind of focus my night's topic based on, oh, we all have no idea what HR is about, or, you know, maybe we've dabbled in HR. So as a lifelong teacher, educator, learner, the more I can learn upfront, then the better I can customize for you. But the plan is, the original plan is to give a high level overview of HR and then talk about ways as an organization, specifically nonprofits, we can really attract and hire and retain employees, because that increases our ROI, because, you know, we have limited money. And so we need to do what we can for our people, because our people are our greatest assets. And so I'll share a few legal tidbits here and there and sprinkle in some, hey, you know what? Even if you're not in HR at your organization, you might want to bring back this little bit of information to your team, just to, you know, help make sure you're doing things the way you're supposed to be doing things. And I definitely will share a lot of best practice. So that's the HR night.
Other questions, Gracie or Amy? We want to help you make the right choice for your educational journey. Have either of you already, or have any of you signed up for the course yet? Because I have understood we have at least 4 enrolled students. Okay. What would you need?
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say, Tanisha, that I think this course would be excellent for you because you're considering, you know, starting your own nonprofit. Because, you know, with any of our topics, it's not like, oh, okay, I'm going to listen to this, I'm going to participate in this 3-hour session and then I'll be the expert on this area, right? It's really a good overview. Make sure that you have at least some basics. So I think from your lens, this would be like especially helpful.
Thank you.
Any final comments from the instructors? Here's my kitty, Sweet Lips. She's not doing too well. She's old and sick, but
Hi, sweetie.
still very affectionate. She often likes to sit with me when I'm sitting at the computer.
Right. My guy's all cuddled up on the couch already with my husband. He's usually, Eleanor knows this, he's usually walking back and forth in front of my
In front of the camera.
Yeah, I'll say for me, and I'm a relatively new co-instructor for this course, and really appreciate the breadth of experiences that students in this certificate course have. And I think that Eleanor and the other co-instructors do such a wonderful job of encouraging folks to really learn from one another, kind of, seek advice from one another, in addition to the instructors, of course. And I think that it's structured in a way that folks can dig more deeply into particular topics or particular parts of nonprofit management that are really relevant to their job or particularly interesting to them. Tanisha, in your setting, it may be that getting a sense of, as a future nonprofit executive, sort of what things feel really exciting and interesting, what things are like, and can be good to know that from the beginning. So I think it's just a really terrific opportunity for folks who want that broad overview and who are interested in having opportunities for those deeper dives, again, into the topics that they're most interested in.
Yeah, and I will add, thank you for that, Corey. I will add that it is difficult for those of us who've been working in the field, and several of us who've been teaching nonprofit courses, to narrow down, sort of, squeeze out the very essence of what we want and feel the need to share with students into the 3-hour format. So I'd say almost all of us have not only the few resources that we want you to have in preparation before or during the session, but there are these learn more modules that you have a ton more resources. Yeah, I can't remember how many Corey had for program evaluation, at least 4 in the learn more. Boards and governance has a ton. Marty has a ton for finance. So there's so many invitations and opportunities to dive deeper into this material, whichever topic interests you. And you can always reach out to any of us because, you know, like I mentioned, I read a ton. I get a ton of relevant nonprofit news. And yeah, I don't know what to do with all of it except share it. I want to share it. I will send things out to you. Any other comments or questions? If Judy were here, she would say, what do you need to enroll in the class tomorrow? What little nudge? Oh gosh, I completely forgot. There's an early bird discount. Wow. Until January 4th, you can get gosh, let me just check my email here. How much? 15% off the $900 if you act between now and January 4th. Maybe that's the little nudge needed. But yeah, act in the next 3 weeks and you'll be rewarded with a nice discount. Yeah. And let me put the code. They actually sent me the code that you put into your registration. When you're about to pay, you put this code in. Code to your registration. I've never done it, but that's the NPMEB, Nonprofit Management Early Bird 15%. That's your discount code. And that is till end of biz Jan 4. So people always like the discounts. Okay, if that's all you have for us, maybe we should all go and put our feet up and relax for the rest of this Friday evening. Thank you for joining us. I hope to see all of you in the course January 30th. Do not hesitate. I will put my email. I have several emails. And I'll put the one I read all the time, Eleanor@eleanorasmith.com. Go ahead and reach out to me there if you have any questions. Thank you, Melissa, Corey, and Lorianne for joining us. Thank you, Amy, Tanisha, and Gracie for being here. And happy holidays to everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Happy holidays.
All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye.